Jayan runs a small marketing research team and he's been experimenting with AI, and he's going to show us like a teaser, and afterwards, after lunch, he's going to do a workshop where we can get hands-on practice to be able to create our own custom GPT. So Jayan, welcome up on stage.
Okay, thank you for your time. So I'm here to run a workshop later 2:15. So I'll try to make your 30 minutes of workshop time valuable. So if you can show up. I want to start with some examples in your daily life, what we can see as AI technologies. Like robot vacuum cleaners are getting very popular, right? Maybe some of you already have, but this one is, we call it like automation or auto replacing our jobs. We don't want to do anymore hustle jobs in the living room. Then we hire robot vacuum cleaners. So that's one example. Another example is I see in our technologies in the car, maybe especially for a father, family man. We are buying a car with AI technologies. It keeps us drive safe and enhance eventually our driving capability in terms of safetyness. So there is a we call it like sorry we call it augmentation. And another industry that I work heavily is gaming industry. And the gaming industry, I recognize that many different gaming companies, they are start using last 2 years and hiring GPT and large language model to detect irregular patterns gaming plays. So make sure that gamers, they compete in the fair environment. So we call this analyze. Okay. Like 3 A's actually addressed by Jim Lisansky, the professor from the Kellogg Business School. Automation, automate, and augment, and analyze. There are many different AI tools booming, so we will need a measurement. Which tools do we need to use? Then you can just think about 3 A's. Does it really help effectively? With those 3 A's, then it's going to be helpful, I guess. And then what, as a marketing researcher, what sort of or what type of AI tools I can recommend? Those are the tools that actually I'm using. So I want to introduce a little bit more about our OpenAI ChatGPT, but later we will actually create custom GPT with the data. You don't need to bring your own data, but I prepare a zip file. You can actually download and train it. And OpenAI ChatGPT is very well known as reasoning purpose and perplexity. I'm sure that you are using too. Is good at web browsing, and Claude is good at writing something. How about Nota, Dagalo? Those are the tools actually is good at picking our voice and then making transcriptions. So transcription, maybe if you are a marketing research manager or marketing researcher, you don't need to do it. I didn't do it before, but from early last year, we start doing transcription with our own resource internally. There is a reason that transcription, we found that transcription technologies, auto technology has been very efficient. So we can actually upload our voice data and creating transcription data. And later we found that we can train those data into the GPT, so we can create the custom GPT. So for on our right-hand side, those tools we can use for the data resource. And on our left-hand side, that's for the content creation. Here, content creation is for the marketing research-related content creation. So those are the two big pillars that we can actually think of in our process. Then what is our process as a marketing researcher of a project? Then client number one is client communication. Client communication sometimes is difficult when we have to talk about tight budget, or when we have to talk about some issues or complaint from the client. So we use, I personally use AI tools a lot. Since my mother language is Korean, and I speak English as second language, but most of our project is done in Korea and by Korean speaking moderators. So later at the end, whatever outputs we have to translate. So we are using OpenAI ChatGPT a lot for translation purpose as well. And number two, survey, discussion guide, development, we are using a lot as well. But number three, recruitment and interview. Recruitment, sometimes we use panel company, but interviews, I was going to say, has to be done by human, but today I can't tell anymore. Last 4 or 5 different sessions, we were talking about AI moderations. And another one is analysis, summary, and full report. Even for that part, we can use ChatGPT as we train the ChatGPT and create our own Custom-GPT. So again, here, transcription in English, after we made it, after we create it, and we translate it, as we translate it, it's going to be very helpful and save our time and cost. But how it is going to happen, I will show later at the interactive stage. If you can show up, I will walk through with you one by one step. Then what is just GPT, and why am I talking about Custom-GPT? Then GPT-4 is the latest version we are using. Actually, if you subscribe, but it doesn't really specify. I can say that it doesn't really specify a character or personality, but it is just very smart and smart. I can say a smart person who is really good at reasoning. But once we train the GPT, but how are we going to train the GPT? Any kind of marketing, any kind of outputs we are gathering from a marketing research project, we will train it. We can train it. Let's just say that screeners, we will receive the screener from a client, and we will after we screen, we will have a demographic information, and we train it. Even pre-task data, we train it. And survey data, we train it. And discussion guide, we can train it. I will have two versions of discussion guide. For example, one is English version I received, then I translate from English to Korean. I translate both of them. And after we are done on the field work, then we actually upload the transcription as well. And later, if you have a quantitative research data, then we upload that one as well. Even desk research data, if we have, we can upload and train it. Then we will have the persona. We'll start having persona, and we will pick a piece of segmentation. So we're not just talking to anyone or someone, but we will talk to the exact persona that we actually interview with. So the tools, when you use ChatGPT, this is I can say that plain and classic one, but once you train it, it will actually specify the persona. So you will talk to the persona, and we call it persona chat. So later, 2:15, if you can show 5 minutes earlier, I would give you a QR code where you can download the zip file and training data. So that's it. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Jayan. So if you're interested, his workshop will happen right after lunch at the interactive stage. Okay, next.